You needed it.
So George, could you tell us a little bit about your gas station? Where was it? How it got started?
Well,
Right on the corner.
it was located down where Tom's
Yeah.
was. I was in there for, I think I was like 20 years old when I first, well, I worked for Fritz Heilman. He had it first. I started when I was like 14 and worked for him for 6-7 years. And then I took it over and ran it till 66. Then I went to Deers. And that was the end of my gas station career.
And then who had it? I know that Bobby Wheeler had it for a
Bobby
while.
Wheeler,
Did
Jim
he have it
Rigdon.
after you, or who had it after
Jim
you?
Rigdon had it,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
and then Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the,
I think Bagby bought it from Bobby, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing I remember about the Dunkerton Dukes, there was a guy that ran the restaurant, a big guy, I think his Boomer was his name.
yeah.
And he embezzled the treasury from the Dunkerton Dukes.
Aww.
And I don't know if we ever recovered that money.
I think that's back in hamburgers.
So which restaurant was that?
On
The Corner Cafe?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay, cause I always knew like Fonda and
and Leonard.
Leonard,
Leonard,
yeah,
yeah.
were the ones that ran that.
But
I'm like,
he was quite a character.
I don't
He
remember
had
that.
sleep apnea, and he would fall asleep in the booth, and people would go in and just help themselves. But he ended up getting our money.
Recoup his costs somehow.
True.
So George, with you living on Main Street, when was Main Street really active or?
Well, in the
All the time.
50s, 60s,
Since I was born, yeah.
70s.
56, I was born, and ever since then, I remember it.
Yeah.
It was the booming place. I mean,
It
it was
was.
an actual town and,
Well, one time we had
Stores
3
and-
grocery stores.
right, couple taverns.
Yeah.
Maybe there might have been 3 at one time, I don't know, but I know there was a couple. Drugstore.
Yeah.
That old bank building.
Yeah.
Ag building, yeah. Post
And-
office.
I mean, everything happened down there too. And then there was, when you got down to the end of the street, that's where the lumberyard was, where
Kathy and Bobby
his
Rigdon?
father-in-law, yeah, but that was, owned it, I worked for him. And, at the lumberyard, but when you went down to that, and then Ambrose Knievel had his garage right there. When you went down there, the big thing was, that's where you made the U-turn, and then you cruised up and down
Right.
Main Street right there. And like the gas station was the other end, sort of.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it was just, I mean, I don't know, it's, when you start thinking about it, it's like, everything's up here, it seems like now, I mean, I haven't lived here for a while, but it's sort of, I mean, it's sad to me, in a way, like when they have homecoming parades and everything, you know, now they're up here. And I'm like, well, that's really not the town, like when I remembered it, because everything went down that main drag. And I just remember us all sitting on those steps that were to the bank to watch all the parades and everything. And
Homecoming.
like the community center, I think, guess that's still there, but you
Yeah.
know, that was kind of a big deal.
Remember when we used to have a Christmas tree in the intersection
Yeah,
by the bank building?
Really?
Yeah, that was a state highway at that time. It ended down at the lumberyard.
and like on Saturdays, we'd all, well, not all, but I mean, the Rugrats or whatever, we'd go down to the, like the drugstore there, we'd all be sitting around at the comic rack, reading comics all morning, and I don't know, you know, people weren't, like, they should have probably just kicked us out and everything, but, you know, Linford was like, Bauer was the pharmacist, and he was like one of the nicest guys you'd ever wanna meet in your life, and he was kind of almost like our doctor in a way, because whenever anything happened, that's where people went to. You know, and it was a cool place, cause you could go down and get your cherry cokes and Green Rivers and everything right there at the little bar they had in there, but, yeah.
Wasn't there an ice cream shop down there by, like where the river's edge is now?
That was,
think you can still see the
Miller's
foundation.
Cafe.
Miller's Cafe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was
I just
next to
remember
it.
Root beer and ice cream.
Yeah. And a little later than that, Dean French for when we were growing up. Dean French used to have Frenchies on one side of the road, and then they had, gosh, what was an arcade called, Dean, on the other side? Well, maybe it was Frenchie's Arcade, but there was arcade. We could go down there, and it was a little building with pizza, probably just frozen pizzas, but it was, you know, as a kid,
It was good.
Like I said, my memories too of the motorcycle thing was, like the first memory I had was my dad put me on it, and then that's where we would go, would be like from our house down to the corner cafe to have coffee. You'd have to have coffee, you know, once or twice a day, and I had to ride along with him for some reason, I don't know why, but I just remember, you know, always, he didn't go easy on that thing, so I don't know if he had it hopped up or what, but I had a hell of a time hanging on, I know that much. But that's where everybody hung out too, was at the cafe, and everybody like, I think your dad and, you know, they all sit there in the booth and drink coffee all day, or not all day, but it seemed like a long time, cause I didn't sit there and listen to them bullshit, but it was fun. You had to hear a lot of stories.
burn through a
Huh?
couple cartons of cigarettes and
Yeah.
a couple gallons of
Yeah,
coffee.
they smoked the hell out of cigarettes too.
Okay, George, as a mayor, what were some good things, bad things, whatever you want to share?
I guess it was hard to please everybody. One thing I remember.
Mike
Mike
Slap.
knows about
Still
that.
true to this day, right?
Some things never change.
Okay.
I don't know, I think I was mayor pro tem when I first got started. I was on the council, and Jerry Garens got sick, and I finished his term, and then I was elected for another term. Then I think I gave it up.
So you remember the years? Or?
You know,
Yeah,
I
okay.
was trying to think, I can't not tell you for sure. It had to be in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, mid-70s or whatever, cause I think you were mayor for like 3 years, weren't you? And then Don Hayes was mayor for 2 years, and then I ran, and that was, my first year as mayor was in, 84. So 84, I became mayor after right after Don or whatever. And I think Jerry got sick in like 78 and
Was it?
9, yeah,
Yeah.
79,
Yeah.
somewhere around in
there's-
there. Cause he died in 1980.
Okay.
Dad was mayor in 75, so
Okay.
you must have been after him.
Yeah. Boy, I don't remember.
I remember
You would have
when
been in the late 70s.
Yeah.
When I worked at the lumberyard, Jerry was the mayor.
Yeah.
For 3, yeah.
What year was that?
Well, that must have been in, let's see, I graduated in 75, so that was like 74. 74 and 75, I think, something like that. Maybe-
That's something that we'll have to, I used to have all the mayors and their dates and stuff like that. I'll have
Get
to
that.
get something like that put together or whatever. I'll have to see if I can find all that.
Dad's got it, I thought, I might have turned it into you.
To me?
but-
Okay.
Yeah, if not, I still have it at home, but yeah, it's got all the mayors from the beginning till,
Correct. Huh?
Because I think Harold Brennan was mayor and then Jerry. And then you, and then Don, and then me or whatever, but I had a history of them all back when they first started or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that's all.
Yeah.